much for 11 o'clock at night filling up my tank, and I want to give you my business card, and you might note I wrote thank you on it. And he took it, and I guess I'm thanking you for the opportunity of someday helping someone you know with their real estate needs. Well, this young guy stared at the card, and he looked right in the window, and he says, I can't believe this. My aunt and uncle are coming this weekend to look for a home in this area. I said, really? I ended up closing a sale that I would have never gotten. Except I said, I'm getting rid of those 20 business cards before I go home. Now, I don't know your commitment level. I don't know how serious you are. There are some people that go into this business, and because they were making $30,000 or $40,000 on another job, they start getting on target for $50,000 or $60,000, and all of a sudden they start mentally and physically retiring. They start saying, I've got it made now. No, don't let your activities be judged by the income you're making. How many cards can you get out every day? So the Chamber of Commerce, businesses in the community, leads groups, any of these areas where you can meet people and then get in the habit of giving the business cards out with thank you on it, learn that presentation, you'll love the feelings you create. And if someone is nice to you, let's say someone says, well, that is without a doubt one of the nicest things, thank you very much. Why don't you just jot their name down and send them a little handwritten thank you note? We'll talk more about that as far as which thank you notes to send in another program. Also, don't be afraid to give small gifts to people that help you build your business. The company has a catalog, wonderful advertising specialty ideas that you can give to people. I have found over the years, invest a percentage of your income back in giveaway type of gifts, and you'll be amazed how they will never forget you, and they'll do business with you for a long, long time. Here is one of my favorite prospecting ideas. In fact, let me start with a question. What do we call a person who has no mother or father? They're an orphan. And this technique is called orphan adoption. Listen carefully. When a person who has worked with you at Card Service International leaves the company, meaning either they've chosen to go elsewhere or the company believes it's best that they go elsewhere, whatever, they have clients. They have clients who believe in Card Service International. These clients still need to be served. So I'd like to suggest that you as an agent, when someone leaves the company, you find 20 to 30 of their best clients and you give them to the new person, and the new person has an assignment. They just have to go, say hello, and let that client know they are now there to serve their needs. Now, not only is this a nice way to get new people up and talking to people, but you'll be amazed how many of these people have not been contacted for a year or two by the person who left. They haven't got the latest technology in what they're using. They aren't aware that we're even into the internet, into building websites. So it can be a wonderful way of adopting clients and making them yours. I know I refer a lot to my real estate career because that's how I applied all that I'm teaching you in the real estate business. But I found when I became a manager, I'd hire a brand new person. The person would be nervous, lack confidence, and I would write a letter to 20 of the clients of a person who left the firm, introducing the new person, then send the new person over to chat with them. And after meeting 20 strangers, talking about real estate, they became comfortable, they gained confidence. And I think Card Service International can do exactly the same thing. Agents introduce new people to the clients of a person who's left your company, because we should never neglect a client. What will happen too often is someone may leave your company and then try to take the business you have with them. Don't let that happen. You should never lose business when someone leaves this company. That should be a cardinal rule. And then, of course, you also know you've got access to lots of lists. Great prospecting. New business list, wonderful. What a way to celebrate when they're going into business. Be sure when you meet a brand new business owner that you go there to congratulate them for taking advantage of the American dream of becoming an entrepreneur and opening their own business. Let them know that that's what we do at Card Service International. We love to congratulate people who have the foresight, the creativity to decide not to just work for someone else, but to open their own business. And your business is important. If your business succeeds, this is adding to free enterprise. This is adding to what's built this country. That's why we at Card Service International must do everything in our power to make sure your business succeeds. This is the type of feeling you really have to have if you totally are buying into what this company does. Okay? Now, you have yellow page lists, use them, different organizational lists. Most of you work for an agent that can tell you everywhere you need to go and all the people you need to meet. But what is the challenge? Will you commit to meeting the people? Will you commit to getting in early, getting paperwork done, taking the leads that you've been given, either through telemarketing or however they're generated, going out, closing transactions, and then say, I'm not going home till I've met this number of people on my own today? I challenge you to do that, all right? Now I want to share with you, I think, the most important thing I can teach you, and that's the art of questioning. This art form of questioning encompasses everything that we're going to learn. Now, questioning is the foundation of great selling. It's also the opposite of what most people in selling want to do. See, most people go into selling because someone when they were young said, boy, you should be in sales. What a mouth you have. Whoa, can you talk? And we start saying, well, they say I'm good in sales because I'm outgoing and gregarious and talkative. And all of a sudden we think that's the image we want to portray. And in truth, you want to portray in the beginning the opposite image, so that they, first of all, relax with you. Now, never forget this little statement. This is foundational. Ready? If I say it, they tend to doubt it. If they say it, it's true. And this is something you can never forget. As a salesperson, when you make a statement of fact, human nature-wise, they're going to doubt it. Whereas if you ask them a question, and in their answer, they make a statement of fact, they believe it. Now that's so important that you realize. Now there are four main reasons we become master questioners, if you will. The first reason is you will immediately gain control. You see, if I ask you a question, it means you have to mentally think, and then you have to respond. And so in a way, I've gotten control of your mind because you need to respond. So a lot of people feel like, I'm in control if I'm talking. You're really not. Especially with many of the merchants, their mind is 18 different ways going all the time. They're busy, they're thinking this, and then you come in and start talking. We have to develop what I'm going to be teaching you in this program, riveting, captivating questions. The second reason you master questions is it allows you to isolate what we call buying motives. See, if I just start talking, I'm not going to be hitting the main motives that you might have for doing business with me. But if I question you enough, your answers will tell me what your hot buttons are for doing business with me. The third reason, it'll help you isolate areas of concern. You see, if I say to the merchant I've just been chatting with, what has been your past experience with your credit card processing? By asking him that one question, I get a whole dialogue of his background. Well, we had a real bad experience. Now I realize he'll have a defense up, and I've got to find out the bad experience so I can overcome it in my presentation. And then, of course, the next reason you ask questions is to establish rapport. So how's your business going? How long have you been in business? All of these little questions do start to build rapport because they start chatting and talking with you. That's why that one phrase, I'm in business in the community as well, and our business exists to help businesses like yours not only survive, but make increased profits. See, that's the things they want to hear. So, we're going to master questioning. The first type of question I want to teach you is called a closed question. Now, a closed question is a question that almost demands one response. It can almost be just a yes or a no. Now, one of the challenges of the closed question, you've got to make sure the answer you want And you've got to make sure the question will get that, or a closed question can backfire on you, as I'll teach you. Now, the first closed question is called the tie-down question. Now, when I say the word tie-down, you that are new, you might feel like, well, that sounds kind of manipulative. That sounds kind of pushy. Not at all. The tie-down technique, and here's the definition of it as you see in your workbook. It is a question at the end of a sentence that demands a yes response. See, one of the keys to getting the final closed transaction is to get lots of little agreements. If I get enough little agreements, the major decision is carried, isn't it? Now, I just used the technique, didn't I? That was one, wasn't it? They're kind of fun, aren't they? I did it again, didn't I? See, I want you to learn to take isn't, it doesn't, it wasn't, it couldn't, it wouldn't, it shouldn't, it can't, you won't, you haven't, you hasn't, it hasn't, she, aren't they, can't they, won't they, don't you agree, couldn't it, wouldn't it, shouldn't it? And start building what we call yes momentum. Now, I'm going to start speaking, and I'm going to say a sentence. I'd like you to add the tie down on the end of my sentence, and all of you nod with me, and you joining us via television, you nod with me. You would like to increase your competitive edge in the market, wouldn't you? See, they will agree to that. And you'll be amazed when you nod your head. They'll, oh yes, that's important to us. Lowering your overhead makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Attracting more people because of offering our service is something you should consider, shouldn't you? We did it again. Didn't we? You're catching on, aren't you? They're kind of fun, aren't they? I really want you to work on this, because if you can get a minor agreement as soon as you walk into the merchant, that is what we call a minor yes, and it's building yes momentum. Now, there's a use of the tie down called the inverted tie down. So if you'll look in your book, inverted tie down. Now, the inverted tie down is placing the tie down on the front of the sentence. You see, the one I just taught you, this little tie down with the nod was on the back, wasn't it? And that's kind of demanding a yes, isn't it? That can be a little pushy, can't it? So I don't want you to overuse it. Only one or two with any merchant in any one presentation. That's maximum. Some of you will have more fun with the inverted tie down, where you're going to take the isn't, it doesn't, it wasn't, it couldn't, it wouldn't, it shouldn't, it can't, you won't, you haven't, you hasn't, she, and put it on the front of the sentence. So in other words, saying, you are looking for a way to increase profits, aren't you? You might say, aren't you looking for ways to increase profits? You see, I put it on the front, didn't I? Didn't I put it on the front? I'm using them both ways now, aren't I? Aren't I using them both ways? Now, I'm going to do a regular, you now invert it. You join me here too, ready? You'd like to increase your profits, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you like to increase your profits? Having more clients to serve just makes sense, doesn't it? Doesn't it just make sense to have more clients to serve? See, now you want to practice them both ways, because either way you're getting a little agreement, aren't you? All right? In your workbook, you'll see I've written a couple for you as examples. You'll also see some blank lines. We would like you, as part of this program, to sit down and write a few of these that are ones you feel good about. Now, you notice in your book what it says? Meeting as many of your clients' needs as possible is important to the growth of your business, isn't it? Gosh, that's a good one. I hope you'll all learn that one. Make it flow. Make it yours. And you watch. They will agree, and you're getting little yeses, aren't you? All right? Now, the next technique is called the alternative choice. Now, let me give the definition of this type of question. It's a question with two answers. Either answer is a minor agreement. See, instead of asking you now a question you can say yes or no to, I want to ask you a question and give you two choices. And I really don't care which one you choose, because either one is another minor agreement. Now, the finest use of this, and you'll see it throughout the program, is when you want to meet someone, visit with them, try not to ask them a question they can say yes or no to. Like, don't say, when can I come by? they'll say, well, we're all